Welcome back. Let's go live now to the governor of Virginia, Terry McAuliffe.
In addition to many individuals who have been hurt. But let me start off first by thanking all of our law enforcement officials. This could have been a much worse day today. I want to thank our local law enforcement individuals. I want to thank the first responders. I want to thank all the state police, to the National Guard, and everybody else who was involved in today's activities. We planned for a long time for today's incidents. I also want to give a special thank you to the clergy who are here today, who helped us on the streets. I also want to thank those courageous UVA college students yesterday who last evening surrounded the statue of Thomas Jefferson to protect that statue. And I have a message to all the white supremacists and the Nazis who came into Charlottesville today. Our message is plain and simple. Go home. You are not wanted in this great Commonwealth. Shame on you. You pretend that you're patriots, but you are anything but a patriot. You want to talk about patriots, talk about Thomas Jefferson and George Washington, who brought our country together. You think about the patriots today, the young men and women who are wearing the cloth of our country. Somewhere around the globe, they are putting their life in danger. They're patriots. You are not. You came here today to hurt people. And you did hurt people. But my message is clear. We are stronger than you. You have made our Commonwealth stronger. You will not succeed. There is no place for you here. There is no place for you in America. We work here today to bring people together, to unify folks. I remind you all that we are a nation of immigrants. Unless you're Native American, the first ships that came to Jamestown, Virginia in 1607, and since that time, many people have come to our great country to unite us. Our diversity, that mosaic tile of immigrants, is what makes us so special. And we will not let anybody come here and destroy it. So please go home and never come back. Take your hatred and take your bigotry. There is no place. And if I could give you a piece of advice, use your time and energy to help people. Come with me to a homeless shelter. Come with me to help a veteran find a job or a place to live. That's what we need help on, to bring people together. I spoke to the president this afternoon, and we had a conversation, and I told the president that there has got to be a movement in this country to bring people together. The hatred and rhetoric that has gone on and has intensified over the last couple months is dividing this great nation. We need to work together. I told the president that twice. I'd be willing to work with you if we can work together to bring people together. But stop the hate speech, stop the rhetoric in this country. We have got to bring people together. But we are a great Commonwealth, and we are a great nation. And we are even stronger today because of those actions of those people who came with their bigotry and hatred. I'd now like to introduce the mayor of the city of Charlottesville, Michael Signer.
Thank you, Governor. This is one of the world's truly great cities. We have been the home of a lot of history. We have overcome a lot in our democracy. We've overcome McCarthyism, we've overcome segregation, and we're going to overcome this. This tide of hatred and of intolerance and of bigotry that has come to us and that has marched down with torches the lawn of one of the founders of democracy. It is brought here by outsiders, and it's brought here by people who belong in the trash heap of history with these ideas. They're going to be in the trash heap of history. This day will not define us. We will define this day by the story that we continue to tell tomorrow and the tomorrow after that, the week after that, and the year after that. There is a very sad and regrettable coarseness in our politics that we've all seen too much of today. Our opponents have become our enemies. Debate has become intimidation. What democracy is about, and we know this here because we're the birthplace of Democracy, it's about deliberation, it's about action, it's about progress, it's about working together, and it's about, at the end of the day, if you disagree with somebody, you don't try to take them down, you agree to move forward. These folks do not want that. They do not agree with the rules of democracy, and they are on the losing side of history. The work of rebuilding, of healing, is just beginning today. Tomorrow will come, and we will emerge, I can promise you, stronger than ever. With that, I also want to thank the state government. I want to thank Governor McAuliffe, Secretary Moran for all their help. My colleagues on the council, all four of them are here today. I want to thank the Charlottesville Police Department and their law enforcement partners from around the state, protecting their residents. Visitors today at the University of Virginia, I want to say that our hearts break for the casualties and the injuries that have suffered today, and our prayers are going out right now. And please send your prayers to these folks and their families and their loved ones. Thank you very much. With that, I'm going to turn it over to our city manager, Maurice Jones, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hate came to our town today in a way that we had feared, but we had never really let ourselves imagine would. I wanted to start today by thanking the Virginia State Police and our law enforcement officers and all the first responders who are here in Charlottesville today to protect our community. The Charlottesville Police Department and our state partners and the Virginia State Police were on the scene in our community very early this morning, anticipating large crowds. Our law enforcement was on hand before 10 o'clock this morning, actually began around 6 o'clock this morning. And unfortunately, as we went through this day, we had folks who came here to cause mayhem and chaos and mischief, and it resulted in three fatalities here in the city of Charlottesville. In the days and the weeks to come, our city will have many conversations in City Hall, in community centers, in our houses of worship, over our fences, and at our dinner tables. I would ask that, in addition to sharing our grief and looking back at this difficult and extraordinary summer, that we look forward. I would ask that we would consider the question of who we are as a city and who we wish to be. I would ask that we each seek opportunities to seek people who share our home here in Charlottesville, but who are outside of our circles. I would ask that we work to build meaningful relationships and foster strong connections. City Hall will be working with the community to rebuild our structures and repair damages. And we will also work to provide opportunities for our community to come together to mourn, connect, and move forward. But City Hall cannot build the bonds between neighbors or create new friendships. I'm calling on each one of our residents, not only here in the city of Charlottesville, but in the Charlottesville area, to come together and take all of this into our hearts and our daily lives today, and to begin healing as a community. If we all come together, we cannot fall apart. We will be with you, and we will be beside you, as together we write the next chapter in Charlottesville's history. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Chief Al Thomas, Charlottesville Police Department. Good evening. The premeditated violence that our community experienced today was completely unacceptable. The situation escalated rapidly into violence, and we had no choice but to deploy additional personnel from the Virginia State Police, the Virginia National Guard, to help disperse the crowd and move people safely through the streets. None of the injuries sustained today were due to engagement with law enforcement. As of late this afternoon, there have been at least 35 people treated for injuries by city personnel. 14 people have been treated for injuries resulting from individual engagements. 9 pedestrians were treated for injuries in a 3-vehicle crash at the intersection of 4th Street and Water Street here in downtown Charlottesville. Their injuries range from life-threatening to minor. The crash also claimed the life of a 32-year-old female pedestrian at the intersection as she was crossing the street. We are still in the process of notifying her next of kin, so we will not be releasing her information until that takes place, as a courtesy to the family. The suspect vehicle that left the scene of the crash was located moments later, and the male driver is in custody with charges pending. We are currently treating this as a criminal homicide investigation. I also want to extend my appreciation to the many individuals who witnessed the crash for helping us by providing statements, photos, and video evidence. Again, the crash remains under investigation. So where do we go from here? For right now, we're encouraging people to return home. Please let our city of Charlottesville, our home, start to recover from this. What the world saw today is not the place Charlottesville is. We love our city. Let us heal. This is not our story. Outsiders do not tell our story. We will tell our own story. As is commonplace, we will be reviewing the events of the day over the next weeks and months. We are committed to providing our residents with a strong, safe city to live in and being partners in our community. Thank you.
Governor, we have
They were killed after the alt-right mostly defended.
And that wraps up the press conference involving many leaders in the local community there in Charlottesville. But most importantly, we heard at the very top there, 3 people have been killed in today's violence, including at least 1 person who was killed in the incident in which a vehicle plowed into a crowd of people in Charlottesville, Virginia, following the clashes that happened earlier in the day between protesters who were clashing with white supremacists who had gathered there for their own rally. Back with us now, our panel: Andre Bauer, Van Jones, Anousheh Hussein, Evan McMullen, and Cedric Alexander. We heard some strong words from Governor Terry McAuliffe right off the bat. He says, "I have a message to white supremacists and Nazis who came into Charlottesville today. Go home." He went on to say, "You are not patriots. You came here today to hurt people. There is no place for you here. There is no place for you in America."